My dormitory is lacking in vibrance and life. To fix this, I created an ecosystem that will develop during my time living on campus. I bought this old aquarium from some guy on Facebook Marketplace for a low price. It came with a lot of calcium stains which were difficult to remove. I used some unfriendly fishkeeper solutions to dissolve the stains on the glass. However, it proved to be difficult. I even used my algae scraper, but to no avail. I don't recommend this, but I tried using a seal wool scraper, but that didn't help either. To keep it brief, the stains were etched into the glass, so I cannot remove them. Rocks are very expensive in fish stores, so I searched my backyard for some river rocks. This is a nice looking rock. These type of smooth river rocks are perfect for an aquarium. It fits nicely in my left hand, as if it was some kind of tool. I'm looking for inert rocks, and using a vinegar test can help that. I added some mud from my mom's garden. After leveling the soil and removing trapped air pockets, I began building up the substrate layers. I ordered some aquarium sand online, but there wasn't nearly enough to cover the tank. To make it work, I used materials I already had and created a layered substrate system. A deeper substrate can provide more room for beneficial bacteria and plant roots, which should help the ecosystem become more self-sustaining over time. Then came the playground sand. It's inexpensive and works well when cleaned properly, though fine sand can sometimes trap debris if not maintained. I spent some time shaping the substrate and leveling out the sand. I may have added a little bit too much playground sand. Finally, I added the decorative aquarium sand on top to give everything a more natural appearance. This was just one problem. I completely forgot to rinse it first. Within seconds, the tank looked like a dust storm. Now it's time to test the hardscape. The tank was small, so I could only choose one rock. I moved the tank inside and used a desk light to illuminate the tank. From this angle, the rock resembled a face carved into the stone. Next came the planting stage. My goal is to let the plants grow in naturally and turn the tank into a dense underwater jungle. Adding water was the tricky part. I tried using a piece of plastic I found lying around to prevent disturbing the substrate, but it didn't work very well. Once the tank was filled, I added a small filter for water circulation. I also picked up a few plants from my local fish store, choosing species known for their hardiness. I had my little brother design and 3D print a planter box for the tank. A few ram's horn snails would become the first pioneers of this ecosystem. Born and raised in my gravel bottom aquarium, the sandy substrate was completely new territory for them. While observing the tank, I noticed something moving in the corner. Its strange, jerky movements made it look almost like a tiny monster lurking in the shadows. To deal with the mystery creatures, I introduced a guppy. He quickly made short work of them. Then, without warning, he stopped. Interesting. It was finally time to move into my dorm. I packed up the aquarium and drove it to campus. I initially refilled the fish tank by using a small cup. I was trying to refill the tank, so I used a small pump, but that turned out to be a mistake because water was sent everywhere. About a week after setting up the tank, the water turned into a murky green soup. As the tank matured, I expected it to clear on its own. My roommates had become invested in the tank as well. They named the two ramshorn snails Maddie and Jamal. Then, while I was away for the weekend, my roommate spotted something unexpected. Baby guppies. Somehow, the ecosystem had already begun producing a new generation. Over the following weeks, the phytoplankton bloom slowly faded and the water became clearer. Unfortunately, not all the news was good. Maddie the snail passed away. With each passing week, the aquarium looked a little different. Some plants thrived, others struggled, but overall the ecosystem was heading in the right direction. Random hair algae would appear, but it was easy to remove with my special swirling technique. The plants were showing exponential growth with no signs of stopping. They acted like a natural filter and cleaned the water until it was pristine. I trimmed some of the plants that were creating a canopy.
Hello there.
Some of the plants began turning a vibrant red as they grew closer to the surface, and the snails seemed to enjoy spending their time perched at the waterline. Sadly, some plants did not adapt well, so a few had to be replaced with some hardier species. The baby guppies were growing surprisingly fast, and I realized that they would need a new home soon. I was amazed by how well everything was thriving. The plants were constantly purling, releasing streams of oxygen bubbles into the water. The tank looked so fresh and clear that whenever I was thirsty, I kind of wanted to take a sip. The Christmas moss grew very fast, but it also had a lot of algae growing on it, so I often had to trim it or remove large clumps of moss. The tank had problems of its own. Every once in a while, the algae would bloom, and to keep it clean looking, I would have to take it out. I noticed that the adult guppies were very happy, and they liked to explore the tank during the day. They also came to the glass every time I was near my desk, or curiously watched me do my coursework. I found enjoyment in seeing the pearlweed carpet spread across the sandy floor. Some of the Bacopa monnieri I placed in the planter box developed a vast root system due to the abundant supply of CO2 in the air. Jamal and Maddie had a baby, and I'm pretty sure this is their, child. Whenever I'm burnt out studying, I would turn around and recharge my brain by watching the aquarium. I would call this aquarium a success. Now on to interviewing my friend and roommate to see what they think about this fish tank.
Okay. Wow, this is so great. I can't do that.
Boom.
Bro, this fish tank is so cool. Look at this, dude. Got the carpet plants growing on the bottom. You got all these beautiful fish. They have a wonderful home.
Yes, sir.
They love it, bro. It's beautiful.
Wow, you have the lights on and everything to get the plants to... Wow, the plants look so healthy and so organized, along with the fish too. They look great.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more aquascaping and fish keeping content. See you guys next time.